This is Blackwood, a small coastal town in the United States. At around 2 in the morning, almost everyone in the town was fast asleep.
That can't be right. The ocean just went completely still. Wait, what the hell is that?
But Adam, who worked at an old weather monitoring station by the sea, suddenly noticed something strange on his monitor.
All the waves in the ocean had stopped at once, completely still. It was as if someone had frozen the entire ocean. Adam looked out the window. Far out in the middle of the ocean, he saw a very faint blue light.
First, he thought it was probably a ship. But the very next moment, the surface of the ocean suddenly began sinking.
Blackwood Control, are you seeing this?
Hundreds of meters, the water began being pulled downward in a massive circular formation. Adam nervously grabbed the radio.
Blackwood Control, are you seeing this?
There was no response. Then suddenly, a very sound could be heard coming from the middle of the ocean.
Thud. Thud. And the third sound was several times louder than the first. Boom! The entire ocean rose at once. A gigantic wave began moving toward the city.
But strangely, the wave stopped. How is this happening? It stopped just a few meters before hitting the shore.
The wave was standing in midair. Then thousands of tiny glowing objects began falling from inside it. They weren't rocks. They were round, black, egg-like creatures. Within seconds, the entire coastline was covered with those strange
Adam
things.
was about to run out of the station. The ground beneath his feet began to shake. And then, a voice came from the ocean.
I am coming for you.
Run. Adam froze. He couldn't believe he had actually heard a voice.
Run!
This time, he immediately got into his car and raced toward the city. He had no idea that something even more terrifying had already happened there.
Before sunrise, the same black eggs began appearing outside people's homes all across Blackwood. No one knew how they had gotten there. Michael was having breakfast with his daughter, Sophie. Then Sophie looked out the window.
There was a black egg lying in the middle of the street. A crack was slowly forming across its surface. Michael pulled his daughter behind him.
Second, the egg burst open. Nothing large came out of it. Instead, a small, black, metallic-looking fish emerged and writhing on the ground. Then suddenly, it opened its mouth. Inside, a human-like eye appeared. Michael immediately shut the door. But then, all across the city, car alarms began going off at the same time. People came rushing out of their homes, and they saw that all the black eggs lying in the streets were hatching at once. The creatures crawled across the ground and began clinging to people's legs. The creatures touched someone's body. They collapsed unconscious within seconds. But the creatures weren't killing anyone. They were sucking something out of their bodies.
Then Michael noticed that the eyes of everyone those creatures had touched had turned completely white, and slowly, they all began walking in the same direction.
Ocean. Michael grabbed his daughter's hand and left the house. Toward the ocean. Michael grabbed his daughter's hand and left the house.
That exact moment, Adam arrived.
Something enormous is rising from beneath the ocean.
The three of them ran toward a high hill.
On the way, they saw the city hospital. Hundreds of people were standing outside the hospital. Every one of them had white eyes.
Saying a single word.
They were just staring toward the ocean. Then suddenly, they all turned their heads at the same time, straight toward Michael.
Michael moved his daughter behind him. The next second, they started running. But only a short distance later, the road came to an end.
The ocean was right in front of them. Behind them was a crowd with white eyes. Michael thought there was no way out.
Then a massive light flashed from beneath the ocean, and suddenly, the entire ocean split into two.
Beneath the water, a massive circular structure began to appear. It wasn't anything like a ship. It was so enormous that even its upper section was several times larger than the entire city.
This isn't a ship? Then what is it? Maybe it's a door to something. Human civilization did not heed the warning. These...
He explained that strange radio signals had been coming from beneath the ocean for the past several months. Scientists had dismissed them as natural noise and ignored them. But now he understood that the signals were actually a warning, and the black eggs had been sent to control those people.
Then the ground shook violently. Several buildings across the city collapsed, and a gigantic black figure rose from the ocean.
Its body was not like any living creature. It was half machine and half organism. There was no eye on its head. Its entire head was a glowing circular ring. It reached above the city, and as soon as it directed its light downward, everyone on the streets suddenly began rising into the air. Michael lay down on the ground with his daughter.
But suddenly, a black creature appeared beneath Sophie's foot. Just as it was about to attach itself to her leg, Adam pulled her away. But now the creature had attached itself to Adam. Adam fell to the ground. Michael tried to save him. Then Adam stopped him.
Leave me. Leave me.
Michael refused. Michael refused. But Adam took a small radio out of his pocket. He said, "If these things are controlling human brains through a signal, then that same signal can be reversed."
Michael asked, "How?" From inside that thing. Michael stood on the hill with his daughter, watching him. Adam reached the ocean. He threw the radio into the water.
And suddenly, blue light spread across the entire ocean. The gigantic machine stopped. All the white-eyed people fell to the ground. The black creatures began to writhe. And then, the gigantic machine began sinking back beneath the ocean. Michael thought it was all over. But then Adam's radio turned on again. A voice came from it.
The first gateway has closed. The remaining 6 are still open.
Looked toward the sky. Far away on the horizon, not one, 6 different places were glowing with blue light. Sophie tightly grabbed her father's hand. And at that very moment, the same voice came from beneath the ocean again.
Now humans will not get a chance to escape. All around the Earth, beneath the oceans, 7 gigantic gateways begin opening at the same time.